Hey guys, so you might have heard there is yet another AAU basketball brawl. Surprise, surprise. This time in the state of Indiana. I know it is quite basketball crazy up there, but it's just another shining example of, as a ref, why you should never bother with this stuff. It's trash. There's no accountability. We're going to take a look at exactly what happened here, a little bit more from a referee's perspective. And there's a lot of BS going on here. So shout out to Barstool Indy. And I'm going to lower the commentary for this, but there is commentary from Young Mantis. It is quite amusing. Encourage you to listen to that version. But going to take a look at it more from a referee's perspective here, a little bit less fun. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so it's during a timeout, and sorry for the footage. These events usually aren't always streamed in 4K or anything. So as you can see from the score ticker, this coach right here, who's mouthing off to the ref, is down 34-12 at the end of the first quarter. So yes, I'm sure the refs are the reason that you're getting just totally dominated. Listen, if you're down that much, it's not the ref's fault. And all right, interestingly enough, there's a technical, the ref on the right there. He tees up the coach, which is kind of an interesting decision. Usually, I know as a ref, if someone's mouthing off to you, you usually want to be the one to call the tee. Like, unless you're working maybe with someone who's inexperienced and they might look a little afraid to call it. So the ref was handling it pretty well, but I mean, we can't tell what the coach said, but more than likely, when you're clapping in someone's face, that's definitely technical worthy. And then this coach decides to pull a LeVar Ball move. I use the word coach very loosely here. And she decides to have her players pack up and quit. Yeah, this is great. This is where I want to remind everyone that these players are paying for this coaching. They're paying to just be a bunch of quitters in the first quarter. That's a wonderful use of money. So yeah, that's another fine example of amateur ball here. Now one of the coaches is pleading like, hey, come on guys. So they're all quitting. They're all just walking off the court. And here we go. Now let's back it up a little bit here. You can see the parents, it looks like they were over in this area right here on the bleachers. A parent comes out of the stands, not only comes on the court, but all the way right in front of a referee's face. Now, in any sort of respectable basketball event, this would have never happened. At any sort, even a lower level high school game, if a parent leaves the stands at all, they're gone. The refs can and will stop the game. They're gone. There's no way you're going to get onto the court, let alone right in front of a referee just with your cell phone. This is an act of aggression, and you have to remember, this is probably a very tense situation. These refs are probably working multiple games this day, and I can say if you're doing this, after the second or third game, if you're still going, you're going to start to feel the burn. That does not really do well for your demeanor. It doesn't make you totally hostile, but it doesn't help, especially when parents are just behaving so poorly. And in a tense environment, getting in someone's face is an act of aggression. We don't know what this parent says, but even just getting in someone's face, especially holding something like a camera up, that is an act of aggression. This is a very hostile move. Like, you don't have to square up or anything. This is a hostile move. So as you can see from here, now the referee takes a swipe. Now, you don't know what this referee said here. You don't know what the parent said. But again, this is a tense situation. Did the referee overreact here? Well, I mean, obviously, yes. But what else is this referee going to do? This is a situation in which parents are coming not only onto the court, but across the court. It's a situation that's been made hostile by the coach complaining, quitting, which is going to get the parents angry. And a lot of these travel parents love to abuse refs. I'm not saying they like to physically abuse them, but I can say from personal experiences, the nastiness they put up is not worth the money, and in any respectable environment would not be tolerated. Now, did he have to swing? Definitely not. So here, now the players turn into a team of hooligans and decide to commit battery here. And this is a point where, as the ref, he did react, but at the same time, like, what are you going to do? Now you've got a whole group of players here. And now more of the poor parents come on and decide to body slam this guy and just continue to assault him. Yeah, this is a great example. Baylor basketball here, whatever garbage AAU team this is, this program needs to be totally disbanded, if not, like, sued out of existence, because that is just unacceptable. I also would put some blame on the event here, because there was no one around. Even at the lowest level, even in middle school games, there's going to be a school cop there, or somebody, some sort of security guard, as well as an administrator. And if you let parents do this, if you let coaches act that way, you're putting your referees at risk. This is the kind of stuff that makes referees quit. When these girls on Baylor basketball are waiting to get their bench warmer minutes at the JV high school level and the game gets canceled because of a lack of refs, this kind of crap is the reason why. And now here we have the Run It Back Turbo, sponsored by Jimmy John's. Thank you, Mr. Mantis, for that. Yep, you can see the swipe. He doesn't even really swat, but obviously swatting is also, even if you don't hit someone, if you swing, that's an act of aggression. And then, as we see here, all the players and some of the coaches join in, and the ref gets body slammed. Yeah, this is just a bunch of hooligans here, and then everybody's just going to go home unhappy. But this is just yet another shining example of why, if you're a referee, you should not bother with any sort of amateur travel tournaments, whether it's AAU, US Amateur, any sort of travel basketball, because this is the kind of crap that can happen. I can say firsthand, it's never gotten to this level of insanity, but the hostile parents who feel the need to... I've had parents walk across the court, even though... it was some dad who was asking about some call. He had no idea how to call. He didn't know anything. But even as he was walking over, he wasn't hostile. His tone wasn't hostile. But I was about ready to square up at that point because so many of the parents were just abusive. The coaches had no control. Heck, some of them pretty much let it happen. This kind of stuff happens all the time at these amateur garbage events. There's no accountability for coaches or players. Even if you are allowed to toss somebody, well, heck, they're going to play right afterwards. You might have their game again. It's only going to get worse from there. There's nobody to keep the parents in line. It just shows how useless and toxic this amateur stuff is. And keep in mind, these parents are paying for their kids to play with a LeVar Ball level crappy AAU coach who just packs it up and quits. Yeah, that's what you want to pay good money for. So this is the kind of stuff, like I said, it usually doesn't get this bad, but this is not an isolated incident. This is not the first amateur BS involving parents abusing refs. And yes, the ref did overstep, but that was pretty much physical battery. This garbage Baylor basketball team, no affiliation with the national champs, obviously. They don't deserve to exist. They deserve to be disbanded, but this is just disgraceful. As a referee, I can say this is the kind of stuff it almost never gets to hear, but the toxicity, this is just another example. I've never left one of these tournaments without a bad taste in my mouth, and it's because of crap like this. You should never have to deal with this as a ref. For the pittance you usually get paid here, it's totally below you, and it's yet another example. So thank you to Indiana AAU for giving another example of why, if you're a referee, you should avoid this crap like the plague.